Welcome to the show. This is What's Your Story? My name is Catherine Mwangi. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. An exciting, inspiring conversation awaits you. We're here with Mr. Silas Jakakimba. In fact, sorry, I forgot that. John Silas Chepkeres Jakakimba. He's an advocate of the High Court of Kenya and also a managing partner with Ceslo Advocates. Have I said that right? Ceslo Partners.
Yes, a senior partner at Ceslo Advocates.
Senior partner at Ceslo Advocates. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Tell us about your childhood, where you were born, went to school, etc.
I was born in Siaya County, in Bondo.
Okay.
Division, as it were then. At a small beach called Wichlum Beach.
Wichlum Beach?
Yes,
okay.
It's a fishing beach.
Okay.
My father had crossed the lake from Mfangano Island to Wichlum, which is in Bondo, to pursue his fishing ambitions.
Okay.
And camped there, settled there. So when he settled there, he bumped into this charming woman, Joyce, who was my mother.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey.
And founded a second family there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second family, so he had a first family.
Yes.
What do you mean? Oh, I see. Great.
Yeah.
And now you were born from that union.
Yes.
Okay. And how many siblings are you?
Hey, Joyce tried. We were 8, but I think now we are 5.
Okay. And school, education, what was that?
Yeah, so I started my schooling on the mainland, in Wichlum. And then when my mom passed on, the body was buried on the island, and life changed from there. She was a business lady, a fishmonger.
Oh, like your dad?
My dad was a fisherman.
Is there a difference?
Yes.
What is the difference?
My dad used to go to the lake and do fishing, but now these ladies who buy the fish, they smoke it, they change it, and then they take it to another market, maybe in Webuye, in Kisumu, in Bungoma. Those are fishmongers. Oh,
wow, I've learned something today. Okay.
And so my father was a fisherman.
Right.
My mom a fishmonger. And Jakakimba is a fisherfolk.
Fisherfolk.
Yeah. Born of the fishing community.
Okay. This conversation will be full of fish. Clearly. I should brace myself. Okay. So you went to school and when your mom passed.
When my mom passed on, I went back again, but back to the mainland to live with my grandmother Dorina, and continued my schooling at a different school within the same locality.
Okay.
Up to primary 7. Then when I was meant to go for primary 8, as the case was, I went back to Mfangano. My dad always insisted that when you're going to sit for KCP exams, you go back to Kakimba Primary School.
Why?
We had a cousin who was much older than us as a head teacher, but he was very thorough and furious. You know, those head teachers that had to insist on some, and you must pass exams, whip you around. It was called Jim. Yeah.
Well,
and I passed, yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and of course I used to pass even on the mainland.
Mainland or wherever, you used to pass?
I used to be on top of the class.
Top of the class?
Top of the class.
Okay.
I schooled at Kakimba Primary School for my KCPE. Then I dropped out of school. I didn't join Form 1 immediately because there was no visa. And then in between I met the Rotarian. But later I went to Kakimba Secondary School.
Okay.
So Kakimba is the name of the village I come from. I come from a small clan, a small village called Kakimba.
Okay.
On the Promised Island of Mfangano.
Okay.
From Kakimba Secondary School, I managed to get a university grade. Also on top of the class.
Granted.
Yes. Then I come to Parklands campus for my law studies. Then I think when we reached year 2, I wanted to try my hands in Sonu politics. So one thing that stood out is that my names as the word would betray me, and I would lose some votes.
Oh.
One of my names is Ouko.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so my team said if Ouko appears on the ballot, we might lose some votes some key votes from Central Kenya. They told me the voting pattern here at the University of Nairobi basically mirrors what happens outside there in the national politics.
Yeah.
So GPO said, because they used to call me Jaka Kimba. So he said, Jaka Kimba, I think that's the name we need to use in these one elections so that we get votes from the ladies who do not really care
Where you come.
where you come,
Yeah.
where, you know, they wouldn't place Jaka Kimba.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it
You
work?
just sell your ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it worked.
It worked.
It normally works. So that's how I adopted the name Jaka Kimba. Then later I did name change and put it on my ID and applied for a second passport then. But my second passport now came with the name Jaka Kimba after I changed my names.
So it's officially your name.
It's officially my name.
So let's just track back a bit to, you said after primary school, you didn't join high school immediately.
No.
Because there was no school fees. So what did you do?
So when there was no school fee, of course, I had an elder brother who was already struggling to pay fees for my other elder brother from the other house. He was in Maranda school. You know, Maranda is like the Makerere of Luo Nyanza. So my brother was there in second year, that's Form 2. But even in that Form 2, he was always at home. I think even when I dropped out of school, he was also out of school, but was with another uncle somewhere for fees. So the same person who was paying his fees is the one who was meant to pay for my fees.
Yeah.
Honestly, if the Maranda person could not sit in school that very term,
Yeah.
then,
There's no hope for you.
yeah, so he requested me to repeat
Oh, okay.
as we mark time and see how the following year would be.
Yeah.
Then just within that short window when I went to be with him, just there on the island,
Yeah.
he was also into fishing. Then I bumped into this American while I was by the beach.
Okay.
So what I went doing immediately after that was, that is after dropping out, was I went to try my hands in fishing. I'd never gone fishing in my entire life. My dad never allowed us to go into the lake to fish.
Wow.
And it was for a short period during that window when I dropped out. That's when I did it. And I saved, I think, 1,200.
Oh,
Yes.
back then? And that's where you met this, you said.
Yeah,
this
so that
Ameri-
window is when I bumped into Seth.
Yes.
Yes, the Rotarian. And we were just playing by the beach casually, kids playing, and then tourists passing by. It was two couples and a tour guide called Johanna. So they saw us, and then, just the way tourists would say, hello, hello, then we are about, hello.
Yeah.
Then Seth goes ahead for a conversation. Then I
Yeah.
was able to speak, and we had a chat and a chat and a chat without the aid of the tour guide.
Wow.
So he ended up asking me, and how come you know how to speak English? Then I told him, I've gone to school.
Oh.
So he asked, why are you not in school now? I told him, I passed, but there's no school fees. So, just casually. But actually, all that time I was targeting sweets that the wife was carrying. I was trying to impress this gentleman so that the lady can give me the sweets. But now in the course of this conversation, he gets more concerned. Do you want to go to school? Can you go to school? Then I'm like, yes. So I'm becoming very, very disciplined in responding to him so that I get the sweets. But he didn't, because now, how would I ever imagine that a white man can come here and then, take you to school? No. Yeah, so that's the story.
So did you get the sweets?
Definitely, yes. So he told me this. Seth told me that, okay, I'll give you my address. I'm Seth Landau from Seattle, Washington. If you write to me with the name of the school you want to go to and the fee structure, Christy and I will pay for your fees. Okay?
Yeah.
Then I said, okay. Then he gave me, it was handwritten.
Yeah.
He wrote it. Seth Landau, 2715, 70. I remember the address. He wrote it because I crammed it there.
Wow.
And then, yeah. Then, now I was struggling. How do I ask for the sweets?
Okay. So you were still...
Then somehow, I think Christy just saw on my face and the way I was looking at her hands, she gave me 2 packets of the sweets. The way I ran to the house, I was living with that brother of mine. The way I ran and all these kids, people were running after me, taking to me in Adiambo, was my shimeji that I used to live with. I met these whites and they gave me, that was a big deal. being given 2 packets of sweets by Wazungus, tourists. We're used to seeing tourists, but if you get something from them.
My God.
Then, in Adiambo, and the ladies who are there,
Yeah.
people are happy, so the sweets are open, put it, we were celebrating.
Oh,
It was a celebration.
Oh, wow.
Then, my brother wasn't around. Then I told her, oh, by the way, and they gave me this address.
By the way.
Yeah, that was later. The feasting is almost over. So I told Nyakarachonyo, by the way, that guy, the male one gave me this address. He said he can pay for my fees. If we write to him, send the fee structure and the name of the school. Then she told me, Iriambo, Niwongo,
Oh, my goodness. And you dismissed it like that?
No, not me. No,
She.
her.
Okay.
No, she also didn't mean it. It
How
had
old
never
were you
happened.
guys?
I just finished class 8.
So that's
But now
12,
into the first
11.
term of the other year when I was
Right.
meant to go to school.
Right.
Then when my brother came back, I told him,
Uh-huh.
Ogutu, it's now the late, that he didn't get to know about the sweets part. Because I had this thing here, and this guy said they would pay for my fees if we send fee structure and the name of the school.
Yeah.
So, and being that he's the one who was meant to take me to school, I needed to tell him this story.
Right.
So when I told him, he took it seriously, by the way. Actually, I knew this thing was serious when I saw the response from James, maybe because some burden was going to be offloaded off his table. Then he quickly remembered that we had a cousin who was a teacher called Daniel Otieno Odero, through whom we could do the letter and give him to take to Homa Bay when he goes for his salary, end of the month, and post that letter to the US. Wow. That is how I first got in touch with Seth. I have the letters.
Yeah?
Yeah.
To this day. He paid for everything.
They're emotional, yeah.
Until Form 4.
Yeah. Wow. Used to write me, severally. So he said, I'll be writing, if I send a letter today, I will post another one of the same copy, and he could post them 3 times. In case one gets lost, I get the other one.
So he's like a dad to you?
Yeah. That's how he sent my fees to the school. Then along the way, he wanted to support the school. He's asking the school now if he needs to send more dollars for the library, for the laboratory. And they used to put extra dollars for the school. I think they helped the school somewhere.
Oh, wow.
In cash.
Yeah.
But they were folded.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then now checks. The name of the school, support the school, and to me. Yeah, so I would have some like $200. Then I was a small $200, as pocket money.
It's a lot of money.
And then money for my books was sent to the school directly.
Yeah.
I had everything I needed from term 2, from 1.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a blessing.
Yeah.
And then what happened then in choosing to do law? First of all, why did you choose law?
No, I was not meant to be a lawyer.
No?
No.
What do you want to do?
No. I was meant to, because Seth now used to send books to read. He sent a lot of things to the school, to meet now through the school. So one of the books I read a lot was Gifted Hands.
Ben Carson?
By Ben Carson. Yeah. I think I read it 5 times. I've never been more inspired in my life than the life of Ben Carson as captured in Gifted Hands. So I knew I would be a surgeon in my life.
Oh, wow.
Now with Seth also always writing to me, if you want it bad enough in life, if you go after it, you'll always get it.
Yeah.
Our support is guaranteed. Then he sends me pictures of their home, beautiful, like the Garden of Eden.
Yeah.
His home it was beautiful, it is, because I've been there several nowadays, like I think almost 20 times.
Oh, wow.
On the minimum. Yes.
The relationship is there.
Yes.
With him, strong.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we do the KCSE exams.
Yeah.
I got an A. Yeah. So I believed I would qualify for medicine. So I sat back and relaxed. It was a big celebration. People carried twigs from my home to the headquarters at the airstrip there called Sena. It was a big thing.
Right.
2 of us managed to get university grades. My A and another colleague called Mr. Daniel Opeyo.
Okay.
A high school teacher now. He teaches maths. Yeah, Dan and I were very good in maths.
Wow.
He got a B. He went to Maseno. I came to Nairobi. But the problem is, when I thought I would go for medicine, I was told there's something called cluster, aggregate, things I didn't understand. Then they locked me out. So I was told, if you don't, by a teacher from Chianda High School on the mainland, if you don't go and change, go to Nairobi and change, they will not take you for medicine. Then, and you know how it was difficult to get to tell Seth immediately. So, but you know, also in my early life, in my heart, I wanted to be in Nairobi. I only saw Nairobi on TV. So I was like, before Seth helps me get to Yale, he wanted me to go to Yale or University of Washington or Oxford or Cambridge.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So I was like, before that happens, you know, me now I was very happy. How can I get to the University of Nairobi? Now that I've been told the medicine I applied for is not tenable, then I'm advised you have to go to Nairobi and change your courses to whatever Nairobi is offering.
Wow.
That is how I first came to Nairobi in a hearse.
You know, the
yes, this story, even some, I've seen bloggers chatting me that, you know, he came to Nairobi, this person who came to Nairobi in a hearse. But I'm the one who declared the story. Anyway, story for another day.
Okay, yeah, that's for another day.
But that's how I first came to Nairobi in a hearse.
Why a hearse?
There was a funeral in the village, I think from Nairobi. Some villager had passed on. You know, coincidences of life conspiring in your favor. We first landed in Kibra. We ate the manna we carried. Jesus Christ. Anyways, there are stories in this life. That was the most amazing moment of my life. The trip to Nairobi.
Yeah?
I never slept.
You lived it? Even I wouldn't sleep in a hearse.
No, I never slept.
Oh, what do you mean?
No, forget about a hearse. To me, it didn't matter. It was just... I only realized later that it was a big deal that I came back in a hearse. Anyway, the following day, I was taken to... Oh, that was momentous. Waking up in Kibra. And many years later, I came back to work in Kibra as PA to the then opposition leader, Raila Odinga.
Yeah.
The same Kibra, the same place. And I never told them I'd been here. The first time was...
You lived there?
No, I didn't live. I just slept there.
That night, yes.
Yeah, and the dinner we ate was the manna we carried. I thought we'd change diet.
No.
Anyway, I was taken to JAB, the then Joint Admissions Board. Nowadays, I think it has a different name. It was domiciled at main campus. Then there I met a number of students who came to change their courses. And I think I met also somebody who would then become my roommate in campus. And I already had one roommate for life in campus.
Okay.
It's called George Ogembo. Is my personal lawyer. Okay. Yeah, I also have a lawyer. The best.
The lawyers have lawyers too, right?
Yes. So I changed my courses. So I put back number 1, law. I was looking for any serious course. I was asking students who were there.
Yeah.
But the counseling is important. This career guidance and counseling is important.
Yeah.
So I asked which other course. Then I realized, apart from medicine, any. So I just put law, as in where you just throw things. So I put law, Nairobi University. Then I put BComs, Nairobi. Then I put number 3. I put BA something, Nairobi. Then number 4, I put education, Nairobi. Yeah, BA economics, Nairobi. Then number 4. BEd economics or something, BEd arts, Nairobi. I just wanted to be in Nairobi because I knew along the way Seth would take me to the US or England for medicine. Yeah. That one I knew very well. So I write back to Seth. Then in Nairobi, I discovered that there's something called internet, and the people, you pay them a lot of money. I thought, man, walikuwa wanatumiza. But they use their email to talk to that person on your behalf. So first, I tried it to get in touch with a friend of mine who is from my village, actually my distant cousin, called Daniel. Because along the way again, I couldn't get Seth's letters. I'm telling you the truth. When I was reporting to the university, there was no communication at all again with Seth. Okay. So I tried getting in touch with my cousin there. Because I had his email, danoyugi@yahoo.com.
At Yahoo.
Yeah, at yahoo.com. So I told him, please, remember that friend of mine from Seattle, the one who paid for my fees?
Yeah.
I can't receive his letters anymore. Maybe people are taking the day, and I didn't want to say this on screen, but along the way, some people were taking away my letters.
Oh.
It was P.O. Mfangano. So P.O. Mfangano means anything P.O. Mfangano, once they are at Mbita, they are sort of put into a bag. They are carried in a bag, like you can carry things in a bag, unafunga. Some people used to tap to
Take
intercept my letters from
yes.
Seth.
So how then did you enroll here at UON?
My story is mixed up because you wouldn't believe that there was a fundraising for me to go to this law school in 201 on Mfangano at Yokia Beach. Is it you know? I think at Kakimazu Primary School at Yokia Beach.
Yeah.
Because I lost contacts with the Mzungu again. Kumbe people are just intercepting letters. And I'll tell you why. When I got reconnected to him, because I now gave somebody his cell phone number, because I had the cell phone number.
Yeah.
Because the address is there, you know, everything's complete. Please call this line and just, check if this guy is alive.
Yeah.
The guy was alive and he was like, I've been writing letters and there's no response for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
With money, you know. So he thought maybe I died or something happened, you know, and then it just
fizzled out like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I get a reconnection with Seth when I'm joining.
Oh.
When I've just joined. I mean, first semester. Then we get to now start talking again. I'm like, okay. So he was like, you're alive. I've been sending letters the past 2 years. There's no response. Anyway, I've been quiet with this thing all my life because sikutaka kuwachomea watu wetu. Because huko pia Mfangano, it's just islanders who are employed there. And I never wanted to. But I know people must have been shocked why I was doing a fundraising.
Yeah.
To go to
campus.
the university.
Yeah.
Yet people knew this one is sponsored by a Mzungu.
Yes. Yeah.
I've always seen that question on people's faces.
Yeah.
And I saw it then. But I chose not to
address it.
To address it. You know, sometimes you don't have to be correct. You don't have to struggle to be correct or explain so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
God knew I was needy. I needed to go to campus. My family knew we lost contact with the Mzungu. We knew somehow, we didn't know, maybe he died or people were intercepting, which later I came to prove because Seth actually sent copies of the letters and I have them. I have them like this.
Everything.
All the letters he sent, only that now the dollars and the whatevers were not there. But he always had copies.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. Okay, the world can be cruel. And
wow.
You need very few friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll come to that. Actually, we'll come to friends because I have questions on friends. But you take your coffee, we take a break.
Thank you.
Okay. Wow. Wow. We need to take a short commercial break. You need to come back after the break because we're just out for about 3 minutes. Run a few ads. Come back with What's Your Story. Our guest tonight is John Silas Chepkeres Jakakimba.
The fisherfolk.
The fisherfolk.
Yeah.
Born of a fisherman and a
fishmonger. Mother.
Yeah.
And you know, Baba being Baba delegates and he wants delivery. And he told me, I've been looking for somebody I can trust to do this job. And I think you can do it. I was shocked, my sister. I knew Baba was my friend. And very closely so. And whatever we could keep on the background, we kept, but not that he could appoint me to his PA.
Welcome back. It's What's Your Story? My name is Catherine Mwangi. We're having an unbelievable conversation with John Silas Chepkeres Jakakimba. I really like saying all your names. And Oko as well. Oko is also somewhere. And I marvel, let me tell you, up until this point, I marvel at how you just innocently got this help of destiny from America. And despite the hiccups, when you needed the fees, to join primary school, when you needed the fees to join university, despite the hiccups, somehow, the way the doors were just open and you reconnected. So despite attempts at disconnection, but there was connections either way that, just somehow made everything work as it should have. But going back to your desire to be a surgeon, and all this time you know very well that Seth wants you to go to America or England, and you have decided, you didn't decide, you didn't know any better anyway. So you just picked law, and that's what chose you.
Yeah.
In fact, I just see it as like law chose you, and you're actually really good at it, by the way. Just so at what point then did you break the news to Seth that, hey, I'm doing law and I want to stay in Nairobi?
I was already now in first year.
Ah.
So what people don't know is that I settled my fee balance at Kakimba using part of the Harambee money.
Yeah, yes, there was a Harambee, yes.
That's why I was saying this is a mix of, there are too many emotions involved, because people know this was sponsored by an American and went to university and blah, blah, he's traveling the world,
Yeah.
So anyway, reconnection, I'm first year now.
Yeah.
So I tell him, hey, this what's happened, we finished and there was fee balance. Namna hii, pole pole. Lakini karabati hapa na pale, sasa niko hapa jijini. Sasa, they didn't admit me for medicine. It was such a sweet moment. I don't know. I don't know whether it was emotional, the reconnection, yeah. And he tells me, no worry, now we could talk. I had a phone, Sagem, I was loaded. So we could talk directly. So he tells me, no worry, he calls me John. No worries, John. So he tells me just stay there at the University of Nairobi, but we have to start working immediately on your transfer to come to America to study medicine. Do you want to go to England or to America? Of course, I said America. So I'm in Parklands first year, and people don't know I've started working out my ways to go to the US to go and study medicine. Then his people tell him that I can't go. Me, I didn't know anything. Then he's also now told I need to go to a college before you do medicine in the US.
Yeah.
So he gets me admission to a college called Piedmont Community College. I remember the name. And he sends me everything now to here in Nairobi.
Yeah.
It was now easy to communicate.
Yeah.
I get the I-20s, all those things and I'm here. I'm here first semester. I'm living a good life now. So I prepare to go to the US. He writes to the embassy. He emails them all the bank statements, he introduces himself. This is Seth and Chris Landau, as we are based in. Oh, the letters are amazing. I was like, Jesus, okay. He sends his bank statements there. I see the balances. I'm like, okay. This I'm getting it.
Yeah.
They paid for everything. I went to the US Embassy. So when I went to the counter, that gentleman, he looked at my papers and then he knew what a community college is. This one's where you do 2 years, you do science, BC science, but 2 years. And he told me, John, these are your grades, right? I'm like, yes. You seem to be a very bright student. I don't think you need to go to a community college. Could you talk to Seth to help you get admission to a university?
Wow.
Because you're going to do medicine? I'm like, yes. So you need to do a first degree and then medicine.
Yeah.
This guy was now advising me.
Yeah.
The way I left that place, I called Seth. Then we had a chat. One thing I liked about Seth, he left the space for me to decide. His was to support. Then, kind of in the conversation, he realizes I'm not very keen on
going to
the US, because he had told me anyway that I would visit them when I want. But I'm also comfortable here now. So he gets to pick that up from our conversation. Then he tells me, okay, John, or maybe you just stay there and finish the law degree, then you do medicine as a second degree.
Oh, wow.
You'll be more learned.
Yeah.
Otherwise, then we laugh on phone. Then I agree.
Oh, wow.
That's how I never went back to the embassy on that matter again.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was meant to go do law, medicine as a second degree, now in England. He told me, your system is British. So I think finish your 4 years there. Then, which was the plan? I can tell you that the plan, I even told my friends, I'm doing law.
Yeah. And then
After I finish, I'm going to England, Oxford for medicine.
Yeah.
But along the way, second year, I'm into SONU, into youth governance, National Youth Coalition. here, there, hii maneno,
Very
pole na
active.
mina hii,
Yeah.
Mara I'm into LDP, that's how I first met Baba.
Uh-huh.
Youth League, just doing what we are meant to do.
Yeah.
And we were never after following, say, Baba.
No.
Just doing our things at that level of the youth movement. You know, namna hii pole. Then along the way, I think Baba lost his PA in Langata. He passed on. I think it was an accident.
Okay.
Late Thomas. But he now knew about me.
Oh.
So
that's how active you were.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was active now. But you know, the thing is, the story is, along the way, second year, third year, by fourth year, I'm already lost to Kenyan politics completely. There's nothing like going to the US.
Wow.
To England to study medicine. Which medicine? Whose medicine? So I can get a medical cover. Whose surgery?
Who's Ben Carson? Who's Ben Carson?
Yeah.
I swear. So by third year, fourth year, you already connected
completely. So Seth asked me if I'm still going to, because even my campaigns in Sonu, he funded them.
Oh!
I was in the money. I can tell you I was in the money. For a student,
wow.
I was in the money during campaigns, yeah.
Right.
I think I'm one of the few who was never funded by these external players. All these Sonu characters you see, and it's a very good breeding ground for leadership.
Yeah?
If you had somebody tried their hands in Sonu,
those
people can be anything in this world, not in Kenya. Anything. If you have the courage to face, even to be a hall rep at the university, I'm telling you the truth, a hall rep at the University of Nairobi, that person can be anything in this world.
Why? When it's that...
Sorry for another day.
Oh, another day, meaning you'll come back another day. I like that. So, how did you connect with...
I think that another day.
Yeah?
Student politics.
Yeah.
And how that pans out here.
Yeah.
In the outside world.
Yeah. It's a whole other story.
It's all there for everyone to see.
Okay. So how did you connect with Baba then, with a former Prime Minister?
So, of course, I've told you how I was involved in the youth issues at the university level, National Youth Vote Coalition, and then got into LDP Youth League as the legal secretary. I know my then MP, Gerald Otieno Kajwang, the late, was the head of the legal wing of the party and in the neck. And I think I was Kajwang's boy.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
He liked me.
Yeah.
And he brought me close. And that way I got so much involved into, you know, and it was easy for me also to pick things and run with them.
Right.
And, you know, I'm also a social being, I think. So it's easy for me once I get into a space to...
Yeah, to flow and find your way.
To flow and find my ways. Yeah, then I was active there. We were there with Rachel Shebes, Alfred Keter, this former MP of Nandi Hills or something.
The vocal ones,
Ken Obura. We were quite some. We call ourselves luminaries.
Luminaries.
Yeah, I think we were like 12 of us.
Yeah.
And it was a very active window because there is this FES, these bodies that support governance and citizens' participation in electoral activities. They used to support a lot of youth activities in the parties, youth wings. They train you, they take you to Lenana Mont, they take you to Mombasa for a week, just training you on leadership and governance.
Okay.
So that's how I quickly got to know Baba. But then I was in the Youth League as legal secretary.
Okay.
But now the party was going for its elections. And if the party goes for elections, and I don't go back to Mbita to come as the youth leader Mbita, so that I'm able to come back and defend my seat, I would be edged out completely.
Okay.
So when LDP was going for national elections, I told Kajwang, the late Kajwang, Mweshimiwa, for me to come back to the National Youth League of LDP, and you know, and I was already playing nationally at the youth movement, I have to go back to Mbita Point and defend that seat and come back as the youth leader, Mbita constituency, LDP. Then we'll come back to the National Convention and also fight to be in the Youth League National, still head of legal. one thing I like about Kajwang, it was frank. I loved it. That one I saw, I picked up later in life. He told me, you see, you've been a very good friend of mine, and I don't want to lie to you. There is so and so, and he's my friend. I'll mention the name, Young Bor. Young Bor already came to me, and I'm going to support him for that seat. So Young Bor was another youth leader from the mainland. You know me, I come from the island. I've never felt like something is piercing my heart, you know. You know, they was already playing. I'm seeing my ambitions just to be involved in the affairs with young people in this country at that level. The only way to get back is to go to Mbita, get that seat, come back and fight for something nationally. At the, you know, I felt my ambitions crushed. But I loved the frankness. Do you know what? And he told me he would give me money. And I think that day Kajwang gave me 20Ks. He just went to his pocket, but I was crestfallen. I was, you know the way you flatten a tire? I was flat, but he gave me 20Ks. And I told him, when he gave me the money, I told him, no, Mheshimiwa, I don't need the cash. I needed your support. Because Seth was funding my campaigns. Oh, yes.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. I led but you know what? I took the money out of respect.
Yeah.
But I told him I didn't need the cash.
Yeah.
I just needed your moral support.
Yeah.
Then I thanked him for letting me know, because, you know, he helped me.
Yeah.
When I left parliament buildings, I think I looked like a Simba. I told myself, Jagakimba, I am going for this thing. And I know myself on the ground. I said, I'm going to put up a team and I'm going to campaign like I'm campaigning for Mbita seat. The seat Kajwang was holding. And I can tell you, you can Google. The then LDP elections 2006. Mbita. I teamed up with his opponents and we drove Kajwang out of town, out of Mbita. The next thing he did was to address a conference that LDP, the party is for the highest bidder, which was not true. I remember during those elections, Baba was in Germany. Sometimes kama iko maneno mingi around elections, anaenda anapumzika kidogo. So he was in Germany during that week of elections. We drove Kajwang out of Mbita. And he threatened to join, actually, ODM Kenya. That was Kalonzo's outfit then. Anyway, out of that, I don't want to say much. And you know, Kenya is going ahead, there is some elections ahead in the following year.
Yeah.
I get to be very close with Baba. Even courtesy of those LDP elections, because now, you know, Kajwang was Kajwang around Raila Odinga. And if Kajwang is crying nationally that there's a problem, hiyo shida ilikuwa ni sijui kama niseme mimi ama sisi.
Wewe.
Yeah, then Baba comes back from Germany and there's a funeral in Tanzania. The late Dio Musiani, a musician, Owino Musiani.
Okay.
Then when he's in Germany, of course, this was something he wanted to know what's happening. What's happening? Nyakwambago kukanguma timere, you know, Nyakwanyangoma is Kajwang.
Okay.
Nimeona anapiga kelele, amekasirika. Shida iko wapi? You know, just to. Then I tell Baba, okay, this was happening. Then I explain myself. They're like, okay, so are the results declared? I'm like, yeah. And I tell Baba, he thinks that some people have poured funds here. It's not true. And he's using Wakega's name. No, it's not true. I just campaigned. And I gave him that story I've told you. Then he told me, it's Baba who encouraged me. No, don't worry. Don't worry. It will be fine. So I don't know what he meant by it will be fine. Because, you know, I had also to worry. You know, this is Kajwang. You know, you could squeeze me. But now, if Baba himself tells me, don't worry. On a phone call, he's in Germany. And then he asked me if I'll be available. He tells me he's coming back and going to Tanzania by road for Owino Musiani's funeral. And asked me to come with him. Then he tells me he'll give instructions for his car. I'll come in one of his cars. Yeah. It was a very nice Land Cruiser. Baba gave me a car. When he was going to Tanzania, I was in one of his cars alone with a driver called Eric. Yeah. Then But, now I explained to Baba,
Yeah.
these campaigns, Kajwang has been saying, funded, but that is when I opened up to Baba, I think who I really was then. I get my funds from the US.
Yeah.
It's this Muzungu. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
In fact, he even wants to meet you. This is where I get my funds from,
Yeah.
even for Sonu and the things I support around
Yeah.
my space.
Yeah.
But Kajwang really believes is Wakiaga always giving me money to
Oppose.
to disturb him on the ground,
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, meaning.
Yeah. It did take long. Baba was in Seattle ahead of campaigns to meet my friends. Yes.
Wow.
He was with Seth. In fact, when that trip, Baba lost his luggage, everything. He only remained with the passport.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
By that time, I already knew the connection between my friend and Bill Gates. Bill and Seth were like, say, myself and Evans Lagat, the managing partner at Cecilo, golfing buddies, friends for the longest. Yeah. I have a whole album of pictures that they took over the years. The two couples.
Yeah.
Baba is a good man.
Yeah.
Baba is Baba. I mean it. He calls me and tells me we meet at UKC.
Where is that?
I'm like, what's UKC? That's the way I asked. So, Baba has told you UKC. You can't ask him.
You can't?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, nika uliza, kumbe ni United Kenya Club.
Oh.
Hii hapa karibu na University Nairobi. So, for lunch. So, I'm like, me being called for lunch by Baba. And they sent, I was picked by Juma, the two drivers. Eric, the one who drove me to Tanzania, and Juma. Both drivers are still there. They are still his drivers to date.
Okay.
So we go to, you can see, a lunch of 2. I was like, what's not happening? Then we have lunch, 2 people. Like I've never ever sat with Baba that we having is taking me on a lunch date, we are 2, and he called me in advance for it. I was like, hey. So we are there, I'm chill. Of course, I don't fear Baba. Me, I don't fear Baba. Baba is like, Baba to me.
Yeah.
The way I can sit with my late dad is. Then later when we are done with lunch, he tells me, so, in Langata, he was the MP for Langata and the opposition leader. Ile maneno ya, we lost Thomas. I'm like, yes. And since then, things have not been easy in that constituency. And he told me, I've been looking for somebody I can trust to do this job. And I think you can do it. I was shocked, my sister. I knew Baba was my friend, and very closely so. And whatever we could keep on the background, we kept, but not that he could appoint me to be his PA. So, and he picked up the shock. So he told me, think about it, because I didn't give the answer immediately. He just told me, you go think about it, and we can talk tomorrow. I've never been that shocked. I'm not saying it's such a big thing, but I think that was huge.
Very.
Yeah, that is how I first not met, but became Baba's PA. The following day, I gave a positive response. But I had fears. The boys in Kibra used to beat up the other PA, literally. Yeah, they used to cane him. They used to cane him, literally. I went to tell Okul. Now I told Okul, I couldn't tell Baba that me, I'm afraid. That was the following day now. When I met Okul, Erastus, I told him, this is what these boys do in Kibra, and I don't think I can manage it. Okul told me, don't worry, we will support you. So, it was tough going to report for that work.
Yeah.
So the DC was called. When I went to report, the DC, whatever, those people, because they also sit in the board.
Yeah.
And the bursary committee, then the CDF committees, so they were all called for a meeting when I was being introduced.
Yeah.
So me, I just went and I said, God, I prayed about it. And I told my grandmother, Dorina, who taught me the word of God.
Yeah.
I went up country and I told Dani is my grandma, and I told her to pray for me about how to handle the boys in Langata in Kibra. She asked me to kneel down, and she talked to God about those boys. She called them out by this boy in Nairobi, she just said Nairobi, where my grandson is going to work for Wood Jaramogi. He didn't say Raila Odinga, Wood Jaramogi, son of Jaramogi.
Yeah.
He asked God to do some things in the spiritual realms to calm them down. He calmed them down. I had the easiest time as PA in Langata. Those boys were my friends. I was in the midst of the slums. They were my friends to date. And we pay fees for some of their kids, quietly.
Wow.
Yes.
I want us to leave it there because we have exhausted our 55 minutes for this one episode. We will have to have a conversation about your tenure serving the former Prime Minister. You have said something that has just intrigued me now, the prayers of your grandmother, Dorina. There's something there because I think your foundations in faith and in God, I think they find their roots from that. As well as, of course, your family. You know, you have a beautiful family. We were just talking about your rings, and you told me this is not bling. These rings have a meaning.
I'm a very conservative individual when it comes to this
jewelry. So we'll talk about all of that, and there's just so much to cover. But for tonight, I want us to stop it here.
Sure.
Are you okay with that?
Very okay.
You know you have to tune in next week because this gentleman, we even have to talk about his journey as a senior partner with Ceslo. So you need to come in next week and just tune in KTN Home Wednesday, 8 p.m. and listen to the continuation of this story. For now, any feedback you have, the SMS number is on your screen, 22151, and all our social media platforms. Just engage with this conversation. In case you have a question that you want me to ask him, the next week's episode, drop that on my handles. You know what they are. And until then, ciao.
Well, yes, Barani Bwana. I think we just need to appreciate him and let him be. Yeah. And I strongly feel he just needs to step back and just let Kenya flow. Yeah. That is coming from my belly, not even from my heart. Currently, I support William Ruto unconditionally. And I think I have my reasons for that.
Gem Suites Hotel and Luxury Serviced Apartments currently boasts 2 properties within Kenya. Gem Suites State House Crescent, set in the exclusive State House neighborhood, comprises of 34 well-appointed apartments, and Gem Suites Riverside, set up in a secure, private and tranquil setting. In the upscale Riverside neighborhood with 98 luxuriously appointed full-service 1- and 2-bedroom apartments, superior hotel rooms, and presidential penthouses.